If you are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact and more revenue in your business, tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers that convert consistently. We'll see you all on the inside. I think one of the biggest lies we get told as solopreneurs is thinking that the journey is meant to be taken solo. It's not. Truthfully, a rising tide lifts all boats, and the power of community is incredible in making this a more fun, joyful, and impactful result. And I'm super excited today to introduce to you an incredible friend of mine, somebody that I've played with on many stages. I think is just one of the coolest human beings I know. He's going to come talk to us today about community building, particularly community building with purpose. Guys, give a very warm welcome to our show, Mr. Russ Hedge. Super excited to have you with us.
Hey, Christine, I'm so glad to be here. What an honor. I am blessed to be able to hang out with cool people like you.
Well, this is a mutual adoration because I really think that we don't have enough heart-centered, open conversations about the journey we take together. And I know that you're such a big advocate for this. Tell me why and when community became the heart of who you are, what you stand for, and how you want the business world to create momentum in this time and space.
Well, it's interesting because I have always been a people person. In fact, I was blessed with amazing parents and an amazing mama who basically I'm my mama's son. She was the happiest person I know. She was building community and connections and friendships throughout my whole life. And my dad was really good at that too. He was also in sales and marketing. They were just really good people. And so I learned early on the value of connection and community building. And, when you said we all rise together, I love that quote. It's so true. And, I really believe also the quote by Zig Ziglar that says, you build the people and then the people build your business. So as I got into my adulthood and business journey, I realized that as I built community and I connected to so many amazing people like you, Christine, amazing and positive things happened. And that is where the real aha moment was, you know what? This thing really works.
I love that. I love that you were role modeled, and I know that you've got children that get to see you in this time and place. Community is something that we hear a lot about, and honestly, so many times it falls short of what it could be. And we come into this really hopeful place, but it comes kind of almost, I wouldn't necessarily say toxic, but flat experience. And what I love that you're going to talk to us today about is a strategy and 3 steps that we can really focus on to, yes, choose awesome people to play with. Yes, create massive ripples of change and sell the people who want what we have to offer. So let's kick us off. Where do you start in actually building community so that you do have a thriving business?
Well, and that is an amazingly good question because we have to be very purposeful and intentional about building the kind of community that we want to be involved in, the people we want to be around. We never want to be the smartest person in the room, first of all. We want to be around a lot of people that are really moving and making things happen at a high level because what it does is it drives us and it makes us better. So I think very you take a look at what is going on around you, what's going on online, where are the people that you look up to, that you want to be like, that you aspire to have a life that they have. A lot of times it's not that you want to copy people, but you want to take a look at things that are going on and think, yes, I really like that. I'm passionate about this. This is where I want to go. Who are the people I need to hang around with that are going to help me get there? And so I think it's that purpose and intention about what we're doing that makes all the difference.
I think there's a really interesting insight there, which is you want to be in rooms of movement. And I think this is one of the most frequent things I say that disrupts my clients' worlds when I say, are you in the right room? And you might be in the room that's comfortable. You might be in a room of people you really like. But if your goal in that room is to grow, mediocrity is not your friend. And you've
Yeah.
got to be in the room where you aren't the smartest person. You're not there simply because it's comfortable, but because it provides value. And that is an exchange, not just that you
Right.
get it, but that you contribute it. And if you're not in the
Yeah.
right space, I always say to them, get out of the right room. And then they all come into my universe and say, I don't think I'm in the right rooms, Christine. Now what? Now what? I don't know where to find them. So let's lead
Yeah.
us to that point. What do you do when you're not necessarily exactly where you believe the best opportunities to grow are?
Well, I mean, that's the time to make that choice to make life adjustments. I feel like we're on this path and it's not a straight line, right? It
Mhm.
is a actually moving line because the target is not always straight ahead either. And we're adjusting and moving as we're going. We're learning and growing, and maybe that target changes a little bit as we move and grow. I love to be in a room of people that have no ceilings. We're all bumping up against this glass ceiling all the time, right? We can go so far. It's like coaches. I love sports. Coaches, they can get you to the playoffs, but every year they lose there. Every year they lose there because they don't know how to get beyond that point. You need to be in a room, and I choose to be in a room where there are people like you, Christine, that have busted out that glass ceiling, that the sky's the limit, and they're moving, and that forward movement, an upward movement, creates momentum, and that momentum creates success.
One of the most fascinating conversations I had just today, actually, was around this concept of ceilings and being in the room where there is no limit. And I said, you might first come into spaces because you want to model the way that they go to market, the way that they do business, the way they show up as awesome human beings. But at some point, you take what you learn, and the invitation I want you to hear, our audience to hear, is at some point you get to say, I get to go create my own table now. I get
Right.
to really go and build momentum, and you can take this really strong start to expand by creating new spaces. And that's where connection comes into play. Take us through the second building block, because we're starting to now say, all right, let's rise, let's expand. This feels kind of scary. Is it? Or is it not?
Well, it can be kind of scary. We all have a certain level of fear, and fear stops many people. But you need to realize when somebody looks at someone says they're very courageous, they're courageous, they go beyond and they really push themselves. Well, you got to realize that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the willingness to do things in spite of the fear, right? It's the willingness to get up in front of people, except with knowing the fact inside your stomach's churning and you're sweating, and you're nervous, but you're going to do it anyway, right? That's what courage is really is. And this connection thing, people get things in this sense. I believe people look at connecting or contacting people like a connection. I've contacted Christine. I've contacted this person. I would like to do business with them. I've contacted them. Okay, great. Good for you. Where are you going from there, right? Because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. In fact, I like to say know, love, and trust. They
Mhm.
want to build that and to really connect with somebody at that level to get to that trust phase where you actually can do life together, you can do business together. It takes actual, like we talked about in the first one, intention and actually getting to know that person, really being involved in caring about that person. And then they in turn will care about you and get involved with you to the point where the relationship grows and true connection finally happens at that trust level when you're connected, and boy, you would do anything for each other. If I need help, Christine is there to jump in and help. If Christine needs help, I'm there to jump in and help. That's what true connection is all about when you get to that level. And I think that takes work, and people give up early because they don't want to put in the work often. And that's where, you really got to think about that process because that really makes all the difference.
Partnership is an effort based reward system.
Yeah.
And I love that you talk about people give up too soon. And they also think that it's about marking time. And so often we see this, particularly when we think about community. Many of us will think naturally about networking spaces. And there is a really old school thinking, which is my goal is to get rid of the cards, and it's very transactional. And I said, it's not that everyone in the network got your card, it's that you identified the 2 or 3 people in the room. And maybe every week you'd identify a different one that you want to have another conversation with. And you're looking to determine common values, shared belief systems, symbiotic relationships in business, and a way to share in partnership because you care at a human level and not
Right.
because of self-interest. Trust me, you do see reciprocity, but we all love to be seen. And it's a
Yeah.
relationship, it's partnership. And when you
Yeah.
do have it, it sizzles and it's
Yeah.
fun.
It's two-way, just like you said. I mean, it's a partnership, and I think that I was gifted by God with a very, we talk about our superpower. I am good at going into a room and talking to a lot of people and gaining the knowledge quickly of who is going to be a valuable connection, right? So sure, I'm happy to do that initial connection, that initial contact with anybody. I like to be able to fill out the room, see the people, get a good idea, because it takes a little bit of conversation to understand that. But you can see pretty quickly people that are moving the direction you want to be moving, or that are at a whole different level in the direction you want to be moving. That's what I look for. Who is 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 steps ahead of me in the direction I want to move? And it does become your own table, like you said, because you've got to be you. The authentic you has to develop what works for you. And just because this person is going the direction you want to go, the way he did it worked for him or her, doesn't mean that's going to work exactly for you, but you can learn and grow off of that. You can take little pieces and say, yeah, I like that. I can do this. I can make this my own and change it a little bit, but get to the place I want to go. And I think that's the learning and growing process that we all need to go through.
100%. And this is about partnership, right? This is what I love about what you're saying. And there is opportunity be had. And I remember recently talking to a networking owner, a person who owns a networking organization. And I said, do people come in there expecting to find their clients, or do they come in there expecting partnership? And I am hoping you're curating the second. And to do that, you need to be really clear that the goal is leverage of expertise, of gifting, your knowledge, and to learning and to reciprocity. And when you do that, you get to go create your own tables. And what that means is we cascade, we amplify the bigger win for the world, for each other, and for the people that we serve. And we show up really in a really beautiful way. Some people think that it's enough just to connect, but they don't see the return on their bottom line. And they are not seeing how to transition strong community to their business to tell people I'm actually in business and I do have programs
Right?
and services. So that's a common mistake I know I encounter. I see it all the time, but you've got a really a smart perspective on this. Take us through it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting because people to know, as you build that relationship and as it grows, you've got to get to that place in the relationship and the connection where you can really, really talk to each other, where you can really put out what is happening and you can ask the questions, right? It gets to that process in the sales, uh, the whole sales process where you need to ask them. And bottom lines, everybody's selling a product or service of some sort in their business, right? And so you got to get to that point where you can actually transition to that and you can convert this amazing connection to a sale, right? Or discover that they are going to be an amazing, great resource for other sales. See, I always say don't throw out somebody because they directly aren't doing business with you, because there's so many amazing people that will do business with you by helping you get other good referrals, right? And so there's a lot said within that process, really paying attention, right? And as you get to that point, you got to be listening. That's a key thing. Asking questions, listening, knowing when it's right to actually do it, but you got to ask the question. It's really pretty simple, right? Listen and ask, listen and ask. if you don't get to that point where you feel like you can do that, if you feel funny about it, you really haven't made a true connection with that person because it should be very natural. In fact, I will tell you, Christine, that a good share of the time, I never ask the question. They ask me how they can help me
And you
because you've
haven't
built it.
asked at that
Yeah,
time. It's okay. This is the thing I find fascinating, is when someone says, "How can I help you?" It's okay to have a response, and you should be thinking about how do you give both of you a next step.
right?
When people say to me, "How do
Exactly.
you need to know?" I said, "I the biggest thing about networking for me and building community is I like to gift it forward. I feel good as a human being. I feel like I've made a contribution to the wider purpose that I'm here for. And so I say, if you haven't asked, who do you need to know? How can I introduce you? And
Right,
when I'm running an event and they say, what can I do? I said, it'd be great if you would share this with your network. I'm not if I might say to them on occasion, it sounds like you might need my services. If you do, please come and ask me. But who do you know who should know about me is a bigger
right,
win. And it's such a good question. What rooms are you in that I should maybe be in? Where do you
right.
see places that you feel expansive, where you don't feel, with this room of mediocrity or this room where there's a glass ceiling? Where should I be exploring? That's the best conversation of my week. I love it.
See, I love that because there are so many times I get to that step in the process where we have this close connection, we have this going, and I realize without even asking them, this person is never really going to be my direct customer.
Mhm.
That's the first place I go. Hey, what can we do together? What kind of things are you involved in? How can I bless you? And how can I bless your community that I don't know? And these are things that help you expand so much more quickly than people even really ever give much thought to. So many people get to that point, and if they feel like this person isn't going to be a sale, they give up.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the car salesman. They try and try, and if the person's going to leave, they feel like the world is lost, right? They're never going to make a sale to that person. Instead of looking at where can we go with this that benefits both of us, I can benefit and help them, and they can benefit and help me, and it never has to deal with a direct sale to them. It's actually just that bigger relationship that will then bring more sales in.
I think it's all about you're not even aware when your name is spoken in opportunities when you are a great partner to somebody else.
Yeah,
And that is not something that you can predict happens Tuesday at 4 o'clock because I penciled it in my calendar. It happens because you are building the relationship and they said, this might be a great way I can help you.
yeah.
And I love what you're about. I love the impact you're making as an inspiration specialist and the live streams that you do in your channels. I want to ask you, because you are in momentum with your business, you've got some great vision of things you want to come on the horizon. What's working right now for you to attract people you want to play with, people you want to grow with, and yes, people you want to help serve as potential clients to your business?
Well, you brought up something that I found is amazing. So years ago, one of my live streams is called Marketing with Russ, aka hashtag Russ Selfie. The whole Russ selfie phenomenon locally here became a crazy great connection tool that led to customers. I take a selfie in a room where I don't know half the people in the picture. I tag them. Next week, I'm their best friend. Next week, we have this relationship that's already gone two of the three steps. And then I can get to that trust level so much more quickly. And I learned that live streaming is so amazing to bring people into the arena, people that are steps ahead of me, people that are doing amazing things like you, Christine,
Mhm.
that I want to know, that I want to learn from, that I want to grow with. And so these kind of people, you bring them in, and because you have a mutually beneficial and a great platform that is really helping you both, benefiting you both, it's given good visibility, it's a lot of fun, and you're both learning through the process, and you're also connecting with all those people. When I live stream, people are engaging and connecting right there with us. So this is what I have found has been one of the greatest tools to grow that community, because most people are honored and think it's so cool to be on a live stream. Not everybody, but most people are like, that'd be
I
great. That
loved
would
it.
be
I've
awesome.
been on there twice.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
fun.
so it's just, and it's so much fun. And I think, no, I don't think, I know that you will always do better in life if you have fun. You'll always do better. And I'm all about having fun while I do it. I'm not going to work myself to the bone and die in misery. I am going to enjoy life and have fun while I'm doing it, while I'm building and growing and creating a great business.
It is all about the fun factor. Guys, how do people find you, Russ? I think what you do is amazing. Definitely come see the live streams. They are so fun. How do people find you? Because you do amazing things.
Thank you. And I keep it simple. RussHedge.com is the one stop for everything about me. So you can find out everything about my marketing coaching, my keynote speaking, my live stream and live stream producing. You can find connections to all those things, all the live streams, my online social media, email, phone number. You can even schedule time directly on my calendar. You can do everything at RussHedge.com. And that is the place I drive everybody. I spend a ton of time on LinkedIn, usually communicating, because I found that to be a really good source. But really, I drive everything to my website, and I would love to connect with your audience. Anybody who I don't know, please connect with me, and I would love to get to know you.
Guys, go take that invitation, go connect to Russ. And I also want you, because we're talking about amplifying your message, he is spot on. One destination, it's your ecosystem. It's the invitation to go start building community. Russ, thank you for being our guest today. We've been talking about community building. Your business should be fun. It should feel like oxygen. You should be in rooms that challenge you. And you should do this with purpose, intention, a fun attitude. And remember, it's okay to have the ask, and it's okay to make the ask. Thank you for being our guest, guys. We will see you on our next episode. Until then, get out there, go find your next client. Go change the world, my friends. We'll see you on our next episode. That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit christinecampbellrapin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all on our next episode.